So today we're going to be taking the guesswork and the stress out of picking out a fragrance for you if you don't want to ever have to think about performance. Because sometimes you may look in your collection and maybe you're gravitating towards a certain particular scent, you know, one of your favorites, and it just sounds good to you. But then you realize that you kind of have some performance issues with that one, and it's not going to really fit your criteria for what you have planned for that day. Say you got a big day ahead of you, you're leaving in the morning, you're going to work, and maybe from work you're heading straight to the bar or something with your friends, and you don't have time to mess around with choosing another scent. So that's an issue, right? And that's something that can be a little bit kind of a downer, a little bit upsetting sometimes. And so these fragrances here, I've got 10 of them. They're scents that you just don't have to worry about that. You don't have to think twice about performance. You pick this thing up in the morning, you spray it on, and you're set for the whole day and well into the evening. So I really tried to switch this one up. I featured a couple more niche fragrances in here just to give you some variety. And typically with niche, it is a little bit easier sometimes. Not always. Some niche fragrances have terrible performance, but there's also a lot of them out there that are huge and very strong. So I will provide links to these down below, so they will be as affordable as possible for you guys. If I'm referencing prices, it's going to be discounted prices. I'm also doing a $500 giveaway over on my community tab, and I'm posting deals over there every day. Discontinued, rare, hard to find stuff, and everything in between. So get subscribed so you can participate in these giveaways and save a ton of money when you're shopping. 1 Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne has always been one of those very strong performers for me. I've never really had an issue with it. It never really gets cut short. It always does great. This one has plum, there's honey, there's a little bit of this aldehydic freshness, a little bit of this hazelnut sweetness, which really adds an interesting variety to it, which I like. And it's really quite unique given that it's from the 1 Million line and from Paco Rabanne, which, you know, they're usually not trying to push the envelope too much. But with this one here, whether it was intentional or not, they kind of made something pretty cool. Now, I think officially this one has been discontinued. It's still available most places though for pretty good prices online. But it's one of those things where, one, it wouldn't surprise me because they've discontinued some of their best ones like 1 Million Privé. And two, there's so much of it out there that you probably still have a little bit more time to get your bottle and your backups and whatever, but just I wouldn't wait around too long. The point is, if you want a no-brainer, strong performing scent that will just never let you down, I would check this one out. Next up, we've got TUMI Atlas. So if you haven't checked these bottles out yet, they're very cool. Let's see if I can get in close. Twist that, and your cap lifts off and exposes the atomizer. Heavy metal cap, plastic plate right here. Nice, pretty decently heavy glass. I mean, the presentation feels premium, and these really aren't too unreasonable at retail even. So, I mean, it's pretty nice bang for your buck. Now, scent is the most important part, and also performance for this video, and it really nails both of those features great. The scent, at least to me, smells very nice. It's got grapefruit, vetiver, and a little bit of a sandalwood creaminess in the base. It's kind of focusing mostly on the vetiver sandalwood mix, so very woody, obviously. And then the grapefruit up top just gives it a little bit of a bright pop when you first spray it on. It smells very, very pleasant, very masculine, and even has some more traditional aspects mixed with something that smells a little bit more modern as well. It's like they're trying to combine a few different things here, and they're putting out something that's very easy to pull off in a whole bunch of different situations, and the performance is also very good. It's an eau de parfum concentration, and again, being that it's made up of mostly woods, it really does a great job and will last on your skin all day, well into the evening. This stuff here is incredibly strong. It's a clone of Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather, so I'm sure you know what this one is. From RASASI, it's LAYUQAWAM. It's got leather and raspberry. It's really all you need to know. This one is, I want to say, what is it, $40, $50, $60, somewhere around in there for full presentation. Testers, unfortunately, do not come with caps, one thing to note. But still, compared to the Tom Ford, you're getting some immense savings. And while the Tom Ford also has performance that would meet the criteria of this video, I wanted to throw in a more affordable option because, again, we are covering some other niche things later on down the road. So if you're on a budget, then you can go for this one here. If you want something daring, something strong, and something unique, check this one out. Let's go ahead and knock out one of those niche scents up next. Now, really, this one can be pretty reasonable on discounters. This whole brand, for the most part, you can usually pick up for a ways off of retail, and they're really not too awfully bad. From AMOUAGE, it's Interlude Black Iris. So realistically, you could go with any version. You could go with the original, you can go with this one, you could go with the new 53, which is 53% parfum concentration. It is incredibly strong, but a little bit hard to get, and that one actually is a little bit more expensive. You know, I actually like Black Iris over the original. I know that sounds crazy, but I just do because of the addition of the iris in here. It smells beautiful, and it really makes it a little bit more versatile. You can kind of have trouble sometimes finding a good situation to wear the original because it's so strong in both performance and also its scent character, but this one is just a little bit easier to pull off in more situations, and I think that makes it better bang for your buck, and it still has that unparalleled performance that you can't go wrong with. Next up, MIYAKE Low Dissy or Incense. So this one is one of those like kind of weird situations where discontinued, out of stock everywhere, but now it's back. You can get it on FragranceNet. I'll link it down below for about $95. You know, it's not going to be cheap, but this is one of those deals where not going to be around forever. And when you see what these are going to be going for on eBay, you know, if you want to get it, now would definitely be the time. Now this one is all about the incense, of course. There's a little bit of oud and a little bit of amber. So, you know, it's gonna be a little bit more challenging, I would say, because of the oud incense combination, which some may think gives a little bit of this Middle Eastern type of smell. Personally, I don't think it's too extreme, but it depends on just where you're at in your collecting hobby and what you're into. But one thing that I can say for sure is that performance has never been a problem, and if that's all you care about and you're okay with something a little bit different and unique, then you really can't go wrong with this. I mean, it's going to get the job done. It's an eau de parfum, but it goes and goes and goes. So I had to choose a blue fragrance for this video. It just kind of has to be done because there are a lot out there that could have been in the video. In fact, this video could have been filled up with all blue fragrances pretty much because there's so many out there that have this type of performance, and that's one of the reasons why they're so popular. But who would want to watch a video like that? Well, maybe some of you would. Maybe I'll do that in the future, but that's not what this is. Trying to keep it relatively diverse here. So this is the one I chose. It's SAUVAGE Parfum. And what I like about this choice is it's actually not your typical, you know, it's not the EDT or even the EDP. It's also not Elixir, which I've been talking about a lot. The Parfum is kind of the least talked about, at least in the community, you know, from what I've seen. And I really like it because while it is still SAUVAGE and while it's a parfum concentration, they're putting some focus on some vanilla here, some tonka, some leather, some softer woods, a little bit of orange up top. You don't have that typical peppery synthetic bite in the opening. You get a little bit of olibanum in here as well. It's a really nice, well done, and in my opinion, well thought out version that is much more mature, much more refined, and just more interesting compared to the first couple SAUVAGE releases. Now, again, parfum concentration, it's a DIOR SAUVAGE fragrance. Performance you would expect to be good, and it is. You don't have to worry about this stuff, guys. Spray it on before you leave to work or leave to go to work in the morning, and it's going to be with you until you wash it off the next day. Another niche, but really, I mean, this is actually going to be cheaper than the designer that I just talked about, just to put it into a perspective here. MANCERA Intense CEDRAT BOISE Extrait, and, you know, it's CEDRAT BOISE with a little tiny bit of oud, and other than that, just amped up heavily. The notes in here have more impact, more punch, more brightness, believe it or not, like the black currant kind of fruity pineapple smell. You get more of that. It's more effervescent. It just has more of a syrupy, sweet kind of smell to it. And again, I'll say this one more time, but this punchiness, everything in here really does blend together well, but the notes that they want to stick out hit through everything else. And it sounds kind of weird, but when you smell this one and you've been wearing the EDP for as long as I have, and a lot of you guys probably have as well, you see the improvements, and the performance of this stuff is incredible. Some people struggle with the EDP, and so if that's you, you love it, but you're frustrated because it doesn't work well on your skin, this will fix that problem for you, and it'll fix it to a degree of which you probably weren't expecting, because this stuff is just potent. It will not go away. Alrighty, Valentino UOMO Intense. I love this stuff. You know, it took me a while because I was always like, why do I need this? I have DIOR Homme Intense, I have Gentleman Eau de Parfum, and I don't know, this one, for whatever reason, I just kind of, you know, wrote off, and I don't know why. It's just me being very devoted mostly to the DIOR. But over time, when it came to me testing it more and wanting to work it into videos, all of a sudden I was like, okay, wait a minute. Now I'm starting to see the differences between this and the others. And what I like about this is that it's kind of in the middle. So the DIOR, of course, iris, but it's going to be the most lipsticky, most makeup bag-ish smelling. The Givenchy is going to be more vanilla focused with bits and pieces of iris, but it's going to be the most kind of designer level. This is the middle ground. You get the iris, you get the vanilla, you get this nice leather accord as well, and this chocolatey sweetness. It smells amazing, and the blend on this stuff is exceptional. And this is the new version, the 2021, you can see because it's got a cap and it's got the studs around it. And I actually get, surprisingly, better performance out of this than the old version, you know, the ones without the cap. I did a full video on this already comparing the two versions. And yeah, I get better performance out of the new. And this stuff works really well for me consistently. Alrighty, running down to the end, Parfums de Marly LAYTON. So you probably got this one on sale recently when Joma Shop ran their sale. And so I'm sure a lot of you guys are really now diving into LAYTON if you've been waiting, because this one sold out first. So I know a ton of people ended up buying this and crossed probably mostly the US, because I think they only ship within the US. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of LAYTON out there on the streets now. Not really. It's not gonna be anywhere near the level of SAUVAGE or anything else. So you're good. You know, you're not gonna smell too generic or anything like that. But it's cool. You know, I'm glad a lot of you guys were able to get your hands on this, because they are expensive. And one thing that is nice though is that it is an investment. You're paying a little bit more money, even when they're on sale. They're not cheap by any means, but you now have a good performing product with great quality and great mass appeal. It's got niche, you know, presentation for the most part. Nice heavy cap. Yeah, it's nothing fancy, but still, it's nice. It's heavy duty. You got a premium product. It's pretty cool, and it has great performance. So that's pretty nice. Spray this on when you start your day, and it's just going to keep on going. And we'll end this video with EROS Parfum by Versace. You know, it's got the typical EROS note breakdown in here. But what I like about this is more refined. Again, this is what I love about parfums, is a lot of times they'll wait a few years, in this case multiple years, to put out some sort of parfum version. And so that means they've had years to potentially listen to feedback. Probably not a whole lot though, but mostly just time to think, time to go through a bunch of different revisions and put out a product that is improved in one way or another. And I think this is improved over the original. It's got better performance on my skin, better scent trail abilities, better longevity. And not only that, the scent itself is more refined. It's a little bit more mature. And I just think now in 2022, going into 2023 soon, which sounds completely crazy, if you are wanting to buy an EROS fragrance, this is the one you should get. If you had to choose only one, get the Parfum. If you wanted to get a couple, maybe get this one in Flame. But this is really all you need right here. Great stuff with great performance. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. 10 fragrances that will last all day and all night. You don't have to worry and you don't have to stress about these. They're gonna get the job done. Links will be down below. That's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.